The demand for them is huge and consistent. Most years are vintage years in Australia. The amateur winemakers gather early at the Victoria Market in Melbourne, for the choicest wine grapes from South Australia and Victoria go quickly. In the past season, more than 10,000 tonnes of them were sold here, enough for 1 million gallons of wine. Italian-language newspapers advertise a wide selection of winemaking equipment. Crushing, pressing, casking and bottling gear is turned out by several factories in Fitzroy, Carlton and Brunswick. Italian families in these suburbs do most of Melbourne's amateur winemaking. The Italian families work either as individual vintners, buying only a few boxes, or they band together and take the rich wine grapes home by the truckload. And their admiration for Australia's grapes is unbounded. In Europe, the summer sun is fickle, so vintage years are rare. In Australia, the winemakers say, most years are vintage years because the regular sunshine ensures a high sugar content and so a fine wine. The wine for 5 families is made at the East Brunswick home of Mr. Giovanni Romanin. All the winemakers are Mr. Romanin's sons, friends, or relatives by marriage. 1 box of grapes will make about 4 gallons of wine. Giovanni Romanin, who came to Australia in 1938, learnt his winemaking as a farm worker in Italy. His mechanical crusher can break down some 40 cases of grapes in a few hours. The winemaking is fully mechanized. Treading the grapes is now so rare it's almost unknown, and the young people laugh at the idea. But the older ones don't. They remember the arduous stamping and treading of their youth. Time is a key ingredient of good wine. The crushing goes into the vat for a week or so. The life of a wine begins with fermentation, and this process starts soon after the skins of the grapes are broken. Casking is the next step. The raw wine will go into the cask to mature for some 3 months before it's bottled. There's no limit to the gallons Victoria's home winemakers are allowed to produce. No legal questions are involved, and the Victorian licensing police say they'll put a stopper on the amateur vintners only if an unreasonable amount of wine is made. And the police have little trouble with the winemakers. They say the Italians are a friendly, hospitable and law-abiding community. Most table wines are ready for bottling 6 to 12 months after fermentation. Melbourne's Italian winemakers find their product is kindest to the palate after 2 years in the bottle. And to herald a new crushing, the result of one from the past. In the home of Mrs. Rosina Romanin and her daughter, Mrs. Anne Marchison, salami and bread rolls are the traditional companions of good wine. And how much wine do the amateurs make? It's estimated that 1 million gallons of wine is turned out in Victorian homes each year, a quarter of the total drunk in the state. In an Italian household, wine drinking is a family affair. The quantity children may drink is increased a little each year as they grow. The head of the house could well be drinking 100 gallons a year. And the cost? About 8 shillings a gallon.